Right now at 6, a state lawmaker wants to make sure students can't be denied meals regardless of the balance in their lunch account.
And a Mexican restaurant that was shut down due to a norovirus outbreak just days ago is back open. We are looking into their health inspection records.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining us. Madison is another step closer to getting rapid transit from the east side to the west side. They have a public meeting tonight to get your input on their route so far.
Amy Reed joins us now from the Madison Senior Center to tell us more about what the city hopes to accomplish tonight. Amy?
This is the city's kind of first draft for their new bus rapid transit system that they'll be presenting tonight. And these people here are only a portion of the riders that would use this system, so they want to hear from the rest of you. Now, if you've been here a while, you probably know this project has been in the works since about 2011. A lot of research had to go into figuring out what was the best method for getting through the city, particularly downtown. And right now, they still aren't sure that it's perfect. What the city is thinking, though, is adding a bus rapid transit line that would stop a few times from the East Town Mall to the west side. And what that requires is space for a special lane for this bus line and the other pieces that would make this truly rapid.
Ultimately, we'd like to get all the way from West Town to East Town. Not sure if the budget would be able to accommodate that, but certainly we have an idea of where we'd like the buses to go, where we probably don't have the ability to add a special lane, for example, for the buses. So we just want to hear what the public thinks about these early proposals.
This is a pretty expensive project, tens of millions of dollars. The city is planning on a lot of that being covered by a federal grant, but the rest of the cost will have to be met by the city and the people who live here, and that could mean that taxes would go up. Of course, it's a little early to know exact costs and exact taxes, especially since what this project will look like isn't fully set. If you have opinions on this, I know you do. The meeting is going on right now at the Madison Senior Center, and I'm told that if you get here by 7, there's an interactive map where you can advocate for stops. I'll show you how this all plays out tonight. News 3 Now at 10.
It is hard to imagine students being singled out for unpaid lunch debt at schools.
The state lawmakers say it is happening in Wisconsin schools, and they're introducing a proposal to prevent it from happening in the future. Rose Schmidt explains their plan to prohibit what's known as lunch shaming. Rose?
Yes, well, lunch shaming is a term that's been in the news around the country and in our state as meal trays have been taken away from children or students are given an alternative, often less nutritious meal if their meal accounts are in the red. Each school district has a student meal debt policy quite different from the next. We looked into some in our area.
Some cuties.
Getting healthy food where it needs to go is the goal at Second Harvest Food Bank.
That's who we serve. We serve the food insecure folks here in southwestern Wisconsin.
Chris Taslar says the organization has many efforts focused in schools.
We know the importance of food and healthy food to a child's development and education.
Now a new effort at the state capitol aims to make sure students are getting access to healthy food in classrooms and are never denied meals.
If you're hungry, you're just not in the mood to learn. You're just wondering where your next meal's coming from.
Representative Gary Tauken is introducing a bipartisan bill to prohibit lunch shaming, a practice where students are given consequences if they owe meal money to their schools.
There's different standards. Every school district has to have some kind of policy, but it's inconsistent. We need to standardize it.
These are some local policies that drew red flags from a hunger advocacy group. In McFarland, account balances at or below -$10 are denied access to all meals until a payment plan is reached or the account is paid in full. In Stoughton, middle and high schoolers are allowed to purchase using their account only when there's money in it, but the students can buy items in cash. In Verona, students have to pay off meal debt before they can participate in the graduation ceremony.
Every situation is different. There's some families that really don't have the money.
School administrators argue they would never let a child go hungry, but some have urged lawmakers to leave the policy decisions up to them. And those trying to get food to families who need it.
It is a problem that you may not see every day.
Say you may not realize 1 in 7 children around you struggle with food insecurity.
Unless it's addressed, it can be a problem that lasts their entire life.
There are some concerns from schools because the proposal would not provide extra state money to schools left to pick up the tabs for student lunch debt. Representative Tauken says there will be an opportunity for amendments and discussions about community members donating to help cover costs. He hopes to get a public hearing on this bill later this month. We'll also put more information about different school policies up on our website, channel3000.com.
Rose, thank you.
Developing tonight, 2 people are dead after a shooting in the Walworth County village of Darien. Police were called to a home on Buckingham Court. That's near Wildwood Park just after 6 last night. At that time, they found a man shot in the shoulder. He is now said to be in stable condition. Police then started negotiating for several hours with someone inside that home before a SWAT team broke in, finding a male and female dead inside. No other details have been released as this investigation continues. Police say there is no longer any threat to the community. New at 6, Madison police say teenagers arrested during a fight on the city's south side last night threatened violence against officers. It happened just down the street from Leopold Elementary School. According to the report, a 13-year-old girl punched an officer in the neck, bragged about it, and said she would do it again if given the opportunity. A 15-year-old girl reportedly kicked another officer multiple times and vowed to beat officers up after getting out of the juvenile detention center.
The Columbia County Sheriff's Office released new video from an incident early Monday morning where a man pulled over for speeding may have pepper sprayed a deputy. Dashcam video shows the deputy stumble backwards. He then tries to follow the suspect, but has to pull over because he can't see clearly. The sheriff's office says they are looking for 30-year-old Joshua Martin as a person of interest. He is listed as a missing person from Dane County. Martin's family and friends say he may be going through a mental health crisis.
Chance of showers tonight, but more sun is in store for us tomorrow. Let's check your first alert forecast now with meteorologist Chris Reese. Chris?
Good afternoon, guys. One of the things special about today is that we finally added a second day in May with temperatures that made it into the 70s. Up until then, we'd only had one day this year where temperatures made it into the 70s. That was May 5th. We had 74 last year. Within the first 13 days of May, we saw 8 days in the 70s. But here's how the highs did shape up for us. We did it by 1 degree. Janesville made it towards 72. Same for our friends over in Mineral Point. Lots of folks in the upper 60s and low 70s, which oddly enough is 2 degrees above average. It seems like all month so far we've been talking about temperatures being below average, so that was certainly a nice change of pace. We've seen the temperatures come down a couple degrees so far. We're now at 68. Winds are still calm, and there is still plenty of sunshine as you are out and about. 66 in Watertown right now. Juneau also has 2 6s for the temperature as we speak. Going through the next 12 hours, expect them to cool down just a little bit, but not by a lot. We're talking low 50s instead of low 40s and upper 30s for your overnight lows. And the skies staying partly cloudy. There's a chance for perhaps some more cloud cover overnight tonight, but I do think we see more sunshine into your Wednesday. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Chris, thank you. Public Health Madison confirms that a norovirus outbreak caused 25 people to get sick after eating at La Hacienda restaurant on Park Street in Madison.
Jamie Perez learned more about the health violations, and she joins us now with those details. Jamie?
Well, after being closed for the sign outside La Hacienda flashes open today after several days of closing due to health concerns. The parking lot nearly empty around lunchtime, and customers like Katie Spaeth, who said she won't be going back after eating here sent her to the hospital.
Got sick Sunday night, like I said, around 8 p.m. By Monday morning around 2 a.m., my husband took me to the hospital because I was very sick.
Spaeth said 9 out of 16 people on her Frisbee team got sick after eating here, and none of them ordered the same thing.
I won't be going back there ever again.
Health officials confirmed the norovirus caused at least 25 people to report being sick after eating here. We spoke with the VP of the Wisconsin Restaurant Association about how this could have happened.
Can be spread through food, on contact surfaces, and is a pretty virulent and lively virus once it gets introduced into an environment.
Susan Quam said poor personal hygiene, a sick employee, or even a sick customer can cause the virus to spread.
Ill customers have brought norovirus into the restaurant and spread it around, and other customers have caught it through contact surfaces.
Health officials can't pinpoint the exact root of where this virus stemmed from, but this isn't the restaurant's first violation of health codes. During a routine inspection in 2014, the restaurant violated health standards, including improper employee health reporting, chemical sanitization, and heating foods at improper temperatures. Then in 2017, they violated health codes related to improper cooling. Health officials say they're still looking into this, but in the meantime, Quam said this could be a learning opportunity for the restaurant.
They have some really good training of everybody that works in the restaurant, so they understand their responsibility not to come to work ill or proper cleaning and sanitizing when they're there.
The owner of the restaurant was not available to give us comments on this today, but health officials remind everyone, whether you're a customer or employee at any restaurant, do not go out when you're sick, and make sure to thoroughly wash your hands if you do.
Jamie, thank you. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection is receiving federal funding for its rapid response team for food-related emergencies. The FDA will provide $300,000 to fund the program each year for the next 5 years. The goal is to get information out to the public about a foodborne illness as quickly as possible to stop the spread.
A veterans home in Waupaca County is creating a new skilled nursing facility. Today, Governor Evers joined VA officials to break ground on the $80 million space being added onto the Wisconsin Veterans Home at King. And the new building is named after John R. Moses, a World War II veteran and Purple Heart recipient who served as Secretary of the VA for 23 years. Moses Hall will include almost 200 beds, a memory care unit, and views of Rainbow Lake. Veterans already living at King will move into this facility when it's complete, so it will not increase overall capacity there. Construction is expected to take 2 years.
A Madison Child Abuse and Neglect Treatment Center is expanding.
We'll share one mother's story, how the Canopy Center helped her son and will be able to serve more children. That's when News 3 Now at 6 continues.
A quarter of girls are sexually abused by the time they go to college. Same goes for 1 in 6 boys.
So when a parent feels lost in the system and overwhelmed by the trauma, it is important there's somewhere for them to go and find the help they need. Danica Lewis shares just one of the many stories that are out there.
Little kids have different ways of telling.
When we talk about a young child, it makes sense to see toys.
It was very, very difficult.
But these little figurines are often playing out more than pretend.
Probably the most difficult experience of my life.
This mom, who we'll call Miss T, started seeing her son act out and exhibit sexual behaviors after he went to see his dad.
Your instinct as a parent is to want to protect. And when systems are telling you you can't, it is so difficult.
There were no criminal charges filed.
I felt like I was sending him to more abuse.
Her son kept suffering.
He started making statements about self-harm.
He was just 5 years old at the time.
He would lay on the floor and say, "Stomp on me, I want to be dead. I'm bad, I'm as bad as a bad guy."
The family needed help working or playing through the trauma, which led them to the Canopy Center.
That's their language, is play.
Executive Director Donna Fox says her therapists are specially trained to work with children under the age of 5. Research has proven even when a kid can't talk, they do remember.
It happens behind closed doors. It happens to people who have less power. and children have less power than adults.
And with 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys experiencing sexual abuse by the age of 18, there just aren't enough counselors in Dane County to help the youngest victims. Now the Canopy Center has opened the doors of its new, bigger space to kids working through any sort of abuse or neglect, centering that care around play and uncovering what they can't communicate.
Every child deserves to have somebody in their lives who feels that they're the most important thing in the world.
Danica Lewis, News 3 Now.
Along with its child sexual abuse program, the Canopy Center also provides kids with court system advocates and oversees supervised visitations between kids and parents. If you want to help the Canopy Center maintain and expand those missions, you can come out to Stand Up and Sing for Kids tomorrow night at the East Side Club. Our very own Danica Lewis will be emceeing and singing. Tickets are $35 in advance.
Starting to finally feel like May out there.
Temperatures will break into the 70s tomorrow. Chris Reese will have your first alert forecast when News 3 Now at 6 returns.
Well, give Gary the day off. The weather suddenly gets so much better when Chris is here.
Well, you know what? Most people blame me for bad weather, so that's
We're going to give
nice.
you the credit for that.
That's a change. I will take it. Just don't take what I have to say later on in the forecast. Right
We'll blame
now,
that on Gary.
things are nice, right? We have plenty of sunshine. Temperatures have been a lot warmer today as opposed to yesterday. We're 4 degrees warmer right now in Madison. You work your way over towards the lakeshore. That's where temperatures are as much as 11 degrees warmer than just 24 hours ago. Right now, we do sit at 68. Janesville is still at 70, but a lot of folks starting to fall into the mid and upper 60s at this hour. Here's a time lapse going throughout the day. We saw the sunshine, crystal blue skies early, and then here came the cloud cover throughout time. And so we're seeing at least some broken cloud cover as of now. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Skycam looking over at Picnic Point. Just an absolutely beautiful day think of how you would spend a day like today, because I do think you get another one tomorrow before changes brew into town. Here's a visible cloud track right now. You can see as the sun sets, a lot of that cloud cover is starting to fall apart. Heavier cloud cover back towards the south and west. That is where they did have some showers and thunderstorms across parts of eastern Iowa. There's also a line of showers and thunderstorms coming in towards the north. That's falling apart as it gets closer. More storms throughout the Midwest, a lot of them isolated in nature. A few severe storms throughout, say, the Black Hills and parts of eastern South Dakota right now. But overall, here's the general thunderstorm region for the day, everywhere that you see shaded in green. And you do notice that that does include western Wisconsin. I do think that these folks end up staying dry now. The air relatively dry. It's harder to truly get thunderstorms, but for days 1 and 2, that's going to be tonight and early tomorrow, the western half of the state is the best chance to truly see any kind of thunderstorm activity. Then we move into day 3. That is going to be Thursday. A chance for storms will exist across the entire state, and the southern third of the state is where we actually do run the risk of seeing some severe storms. The reason for that, we have a very active pattern across the Pacific Ocean right now. That's going to be moving in to the country, riding on what I call a jet stream ramp. Here's why. The configuration of the jet stream takes a dip across the desert southwest and then essentially shoots storms out throughout the plains. That's going to mean more stormy activity along with chances for severe weather. But here is the weekend as that system moves on through. That could bring a soggy couple of days. And then early next week, we already see another one on the horizon. But as we move through the immediate future, things are going to be quiet for us. We'll cool down into the low 50s tonight. Then tomorrow, we are talking upper 60s and low 70s, again, for those highs. I cannot rule out an isolated shower or storm, but most folks will be dry and basking in the sunshine. And then we move into Thursday. That's when those rain chances do begin to move back into the temperature that's going to take us into the weekend. And if that has you feeling down, here's something to majorly look up about. As we go through the next 7 to 10 days, we are talking warmer temperatures rather, that will be into the low and even middle 70s. One day of temperatures that are into the upper 60s. But yep, there will be multiple days of rain on the horizon.
Allison Riegel keeps the Forward Madison Football Club in shape, and she has a unique perspective in doing it. The story's coming up in sports. The future is now for the Brewers. They've called up their #1 prospect, second baseman Keston Hiura, to the majors. With Travis Shaw going on the injured list with a sprained right wrist, the Brewers have just started their game in Philadelphia, and Hiura is starting at second base. Mike Moustakas is back at his natural position at third base. Badger softball getting ready for the NCAA tournament. They'll hop a plane to Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow and face Notre Dame in their first game Friday night at 6. It's the third year in a row the Badgers have made the NCAA tournament and the fifth in the last 7 years. Now that's building a strong foundation.
So to be able to see that climb of like, hey, we're building something here. We want to see the progress and be in the fight and see us be reaching at the top, and to see us go from middle of the pack Big Ten to seeing that climb of competing with the Michigans and the Minnesotas who have all these big NCAA wins. And then you look at our record board and we're like, hey, we're getting there, and it's all new and it's all really exciting.
Forward Madison FC is in its first season in Madison and off to a 3-2-2 record so far. The team has a 5-game unbeaten streak and owes part of its success to its strength and conditioning coach. News 3 Now's Melissa Kim shows us how she's getting it done.
Explode out! Monday morning at Breese Stevens Field. And Forward Madison is hustling.
Sprint, 2 at the right, 2 at the left. Ready, set, go.
That's because their strength and conditioning coach, Allison Riegel, isn't going to let them slack at all.
2 at the right, 2 at the left.
She's tough.
Understatement. Allison has been running across soccer fields since she was 4 years old.
I played with my hair down. It got in my face. I didn't know how to tie it back.
Earning herself a spot on the UW Stevens Point soccer team, and later, a job training athletes.
There we go. There we go. Because I'm not lazy. Just kidding.
No, that's a great answer.
Right foot in, back, right foot in, explode out. Ready, set, go. If you're passionate about something and you want something, you're persistent.
Persistent enough to be the only female strength coach for a professional team in Wisconsin, a rarity in the U.S. Of the 4 major pro sports, there are 0 female strength coaches in the NFL. None in the NHL, NBA, you get the picture. But this team is embracing change.
I think the mindset is changing, that we don't necessarily need these big football players, big strength, big football strength and conditioning coaches anymore. Last one.
And these guys know Allison is going to make them better soccer players.
She understands the game so well, so it just fits a lot better, I feel like. I don't think anyone bats an eyelash that we have a female strength coach.
Whether it's little girls or mothers, seeing a woman on the sideline is fantastic. It makes it, I don't want to say more okay, but where it's an easier decision to make to say, there's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong at all. Just persistent in pursuing her passion with poise.
I'm just having fun. Then you're done with me over here. You're welcome. Yep.
Note to young girls, put your mind to it. Anything's possible.
That's so cool to see.
Yeah, good story. Jay, thank you.
All right, we are watching warmer temperatures going through the rest of the afternoon and evening. The temperature 68 degrees right now. Winds do remain calm, but as we go through tonight, we're only going to fall into the low 50s instead of the low 40s and upper 30s.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a great evening. We'll see you back here at 10.